Hey, Pat Walsh here. You know what that means? It's Tuesday, Taco Tuesday. Take action, crush obstacles. Well, glad you're back and joining us for episode 18. And I titled this one, Warrior is Not a Bad Word. And we're going to get into a little bit on the warrior, guardian, sheepdog, monikers, labeling, whatever you want to call it. And take a look at where I kind of stand on why I pick warrior servant leader over being a guardian or a sheepdog. Now, in law enforcement, many labels are attached to police officers, and some are not very nice. We're called law enforcers, protectors, cop, pig, problem solver, servant, social worker, warrior, guardian, sheepdog, and the list kind of goes on. And it seems like everyone has their own idea of how to describe or label in one or two words what makes a police officer a police officer. In fact, I'd say society is almost schizophrenic when it comes to labeling people. Uh, just look at any government document where you're asked, well, what's your race? What's your gender? What's your ethnicity? What's your age? Are you disabled? And on and on and on. And we're consumed with labeling people because that will dictate how we are supposed to interact with people. And failing to act properly with respect to a chosen label has consequences, both civil and criminal, in today's world. I mean, seriously, just use the wrong pronoun and see what happens. That's an example of labeling and this expectation of if you don't use the proper label, there's going to be consequences. Now, the ironic thing is the same folks who insist on the necessity of properly labeling themselves and others are also the people who will blow an artery if you label someone in such a way as to display in their mind, in their opinion, your labeling displays some degree of hatred or bigotry or bias. And it's like a unending chasing your tail. Probably for us, one of the labels that we get thrown around a lot at us is you're a racist cop. So what do you do about labeling? Should we even label ourselves? Should we even call ourselves warriors, guardians, or sheepdogs, or whatever term you want to use? And why is warriors such a bad word when you start talking in circles of people who are very critical of law enforcement? That they'll say you need to get rid of your warrior mindset. Well, why is a warrior such a bad word? So let's dive into that discussion. But before we do, as always, I'd love to give a shout out to our friends and supporters at Law Enforcement Today, Blue Lives Matter, and Police Tribune. Special thanks to Kyle Reyes, who leads and runs these companies. And I really encourage you, check them out online and show them some support too. Now, warrior, guardian, sheepdog. All labels that are out there that I've seen used to describe cops and usually used by cops, and it describes who they are. And I pick warrior for several reasons. The biggest reason is, in my mind, in my opinion, the definition of a warrior is someone who stands up, shows up, and defends what they believe. Now, also in my mind, a guardian does not fully describe who cops are and what they do. Now, I was a cop in the law enforcement arena, sworn for a total of 27 years, did 3 years as a civilian criminal investigator working human trafficking after I retired. And I've also been a lawyer since 1982. In the legal world, here's my experience. Who gets a guardian? Someone who is too young or too incompetent to take care of themselves. A court or some legal document is created that appoints someone to take care of a person being guarded. And that person that's being guarded has no say-so in how they will be taken care of. The courts trust that the guardian is going to act in the best interest of the person being guarded. In fact, they get to act as if they are the person being guarded. And secondly, guardians tend to be reactive, not proactive. They only get involved if there is a problem or a situation that needs some sort of intervention or resolution. Otherwise, they are mostly out of sight and out of mind. Then you get to the term sheepdog. And again, in my opinion, sheepdog kind of fails in this same category of not actually fully describing who police officers are and what they do. If you actually look at a sheepdog, what do? They herd the sheep, keep them in a designated place, or move them to another designated place, and they're there to watch out for predators and chase them off when they identify a predator. Now, you know how a sheepdog herds sheep? They run around the herd and they nip at the straying sheep's heels, their back legs, hind legs, to gain compliance. The sheep are as afraid of the sheepdog as they are of a predator. In their world, the sheepdog is a predator, and they try to avoid the sheepdog as much as possible, even escape and run away if they can, or they surrender and comply with the sheepdog's demands, which is running around, nipping them in the hind legs and moving them from one place to another. As for predators, sheepdogs, again, are reactionary when a problem arises. They're not out actively, proactively trying to find predators and keep them away from the herd. They stick close to the herd, and they're vigilant and watchful and are looking for potential predators or threats. Now, here's kind of my philosophy on all this. Either as a guardian or a sheepdog, are we implying the folks in communities we're sworn to protect and serve are too weak or too incompetent to protect and serve themselves? You know, the whole connotation, denotation when it comes to words and definitions. And I think the warrior is much more encompassing than being a guardian or sheepdog, because I think we're much more than guardians and sheepdogs. I think we are warriors, and we need to communicate to the public and the media what it means to be a warrior and how it's just one aspect of a complete calling to our law enforcement careers, that we're warriors, servants, and leaders. And as warriors, we will be proactive. We're not just going to sit and wait and react when a threat or a situation arises in the course of performing our duties. Our problem with the media, the public, our critics, with this whole labeling or picking a moniker of a warrior or even a guardian or sheepdog is they're speaking a different language and have different definitions for the terms, specifically with warrior. When you get into conversations with people who object to the term warrior, they're speaking an emotional language. They have emotional response to the term warrior because what they associate that word with is combat, death, and destruction. They think military. They think ancient Roman times of warriors. And we're not speaking the same language. When we use the word warrior, we're using the language of the intellect up here, that being a warrior is a mindset that requires us to take certain actions in response to certain situations. But it isn't always combat. The warrior mindset is to stand up, show up, and defend what you believe. You have a warrior mindset as a parent. You will stand up, show up, and defend your children. You will defend your family. You will defend your neighbors. And it doesn't mean that you're going to go beat the crap out of somebody, but you will go to a city council meeting. You will go to a board of education meeting, and you will stand up and vocalize and defend what you believe. That is a mindset. And that's what warriors have, is that mindset to stand up, show up, and defend what they believe. So cops will stand up, show up, and defend the laws of their jurisdiction, whatever that is, a city cop, a county cop, a state cop, federal cops, it doesn't matter. You'll stand up and defend the written laws. You will also stand up and defend the mission and vision of your agency. You will stand up and defend your code of ethics. And you will stand up and defend the least, the last, and the lost in your communities, the homeless population, whatever it is, that you will go out of your way, not as a law enforcer, but as a warrior, and you believe and defend that belief that these are human beings who need help. And it doesn't have to always be the least, the last, and the lost. It can be, I remember reading an article since I retired. I know the officer that the article was about, and I think I shared his story on another episode, Nate Spielman, that he got a call for service, and it was a young kid, I think, 9, 10-year-old kid whose lawnmower had been stolen. And so, yeah, he had to take a police report, and he got all the information, and he left, and he came back about a half hour later, and he gave this young man, this kid, a brand new lawnmower. Nate had gone to one of the box stores. I don't know if it was Home Depot, wherever it was. He went and he bought a new lawnmower out of his own pocket for this young man. That's a warrior mindset, that he stood up, showed up, stood up, and defended what he believed. He believed in being a servant and a leader, and he did something about it. I know I shared the story with you of, I called him Mini Mike Tyson, the guy that was having a mental, what we all thought was a mental health breakdown. And I offered to pray with him in order to get him to the hospital without a fight to be evaluated for potential mental health issues. It turned out he had 103 or 104 temperature and was sick, and had all sorts of other problems going on in his life. But It was a warrior mindset. I'm going to defend this guy. He is struggling in his life, and I'm going to be a servant. I'm going to put his wants and needs ahead of my own. And I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to be a person of impact in this guy's life at this time. I know I shared the story once before about the 12-year-old kid that I had. I sat and talked to him for about 5 minutes. And 18 years later, I'm standing in line at Kroger's, and he ends up thanking me for what I said to him impacted his life. And he wanted me to know that he was married, had gotten a college education, had a couple of daughters, and wanted to thank me for taking the time to just talk to him, not like a cop, but just talk to him like a person and have an impact in his life. Those are just small examples in my personal world. Hundreds of times a day across the country, cops have this warrior mindset and are acting and behaving as servants and leaders. And warrior is not a bad word. It encompasses a much broader perspective and a much more confident building. I think it should be building a greater confidence in our communities. Is we're just not reactionary. We're just not law enforcers. That we have this mindset that goes across all those other things that I mentioned earlier. When we need to be a counselor, when we need to be a mental health advocate for a person, when we need to just be a good listener and get people directed to the resources that they need, that all springs from this warrior mindset. That a sheepdog and a guardian, I don't think accurately describes that mindset. And being a warrior, understand this too, and because I'm an advocate of and a student of Sun Tzu and the Art of War. And being a warrior requires compassion and empathy and commitment to do the right things at the right time, the right way, and for the right reasons. Sun Tzu actually had a very hard and fast rule out of compassion for his warriors, that there were certain seasons of the year that he would not engage in war, in combat, in battle. Out of the interest for his warriors, they needed to be back home with their families. If it was planting crops or harvesting crops or in the harshness of a winter, but there were particular times that he absolutely would not engage proactively in war out of compassion for his people. And he talked about leadership. And it came down to this whole mindset of doing the right things at the right time, the right way, and for the right reasons. And then to hold other people accountable to that same code of conduct. Now, here's the kicker. This whole mindset, this warrior mindset, is just not at work, and it's just not for cops. You can have a warrior mindset and be in sales. You can have a warrior mindset and be flipping hamburgers. It's a mindset that you carry constantly. The warrior servant leader mindset is not just about work. It's in your faith life. It's in your personal life. It's in your community life, that you will stand up, show up, and defend what you believe. Now, I don't think being a guardian or a sheepdog has that same mindset. Now, that's me. That's my personal opinion. I'm not opposed to people when they use the guardian mindset. I understand the reasoning behind it, and I think you can have that compassion and that empathy as a guardian in taking care of the communities that you serve. So that's kind of today's episode. What do you think? Share your comments online. Give us a review. Share this podcast with other folks. Get some discussions going. Get the conversation started. And I don't mean arguments. You can never win an argument, but you can have very productive conversations with people and learn to understand and connect with people if you sit down and talk about things. So. Uh, uh, Visit the website, reach out to me on LinkedIn, Pat Welsh JD, the website, the Warrior Servant Leader Podcast.com. Email me at pjwelshllc@gmail.com. Let's start a discussion. You got questions, comments, love to hear from you. Don't forget, we provide consulting, training, and mentoring services as well. So if you want to dive deeper into leadership and how you can be a better warrior servant leader, reach out to us and let's grow together. And until next Tuesday, Taco Tuesday, have a great week. Love you all and see you next week.